Welcome back, Orange County, to another episode of the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. We've got a lot of great stuff. It was a great weekend for Orange County Soccer Club fans. And, oh, by the way, Dylan, did you hear one of our players made it to Team of the Week? This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
We are underway in the postseason, the first playoff game ever played in Orange County.
It's a 1-2, Bedoy. He's found a great ball into Voltson. Plenty of time. He smashes it home and doubles the visitors' lead. Thomas Voltson.
Now Segber sprinting forward on the counterattack. A little handsy there, crosses it. Pineda, the extra pass. Seaton finishes.
It rolls down to his left and parrying aside. Well taken care of by the Orange County keeper. We'll leave it for Aiden Quinn. He'll strike towards goal, and it's gone in! An equalizer and a winner in second half stoppage time for Orange County off the left boot of Aiden Quinn.
This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. Follow us on Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast and on Facebook at Orange and Black Soccer Cast. How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I am your host, Ray Zamora, and I am with you each and every episode as we discuss all things Orange County Soccer Club. And joining me as he does each and every episode, we've got Harry Forrester's number one fan, Dylan from County Line Coalition. Dylan, how's it going?
Oh, God. No, it's going. It's been a very busy day. I'm very tired. Driven almost 200 miles up and down between Orange County and Los Angeles today, and I'm a little bit over it. But this should be the best part of my day, so I've been looking forward to it for a little bit, despite the torrid amount of abuse coming my way about Harry Forrester's Team of the Week selection.
Oh,
Did I spoil it? Oh, no.
I'm sure you're ready for it, right? You're ready for it. And stop whining about all that traveling between LA and Orange County. You had an option. There's schools in Orange County. You could have chosen.
Want to get stabbed. Is it too soon for that?
Probably.
I watched someone get dragged out of a car like a block from where I'm living now, so it's not any better.
Awesome. Well, that's great to know, Dylan. Hopefully you stay safe. But before we talk about your safety in LA, let's also welcome our other regular co-host here down in San Diego. We got Alan. Alan, have you ever witnessed anyone get dragged out of their car or stabbed or anything like that where you live?
No. I saw a high-speed chase the other day through my neighborhood, but that was about it. They caught him. They went down an alley. There's some canyons by where I live. So it was fun. Neighbors came outside, but it's pretty much low-key where I live. We live far enough away from the riff-raff. Super quiet neighborhood, super friendly neighbors.
What are you talking about?
I am a little bit of a riff-raff, but we live far enough away from the riff-raff that we don't get too much troubles in our neighborhood. But glad to be here. School started, so I'm back into the swing of things, getting up early. But I'm glad to be back talking about Orange County and a big home victory.
So what is Alan riff raff and Dylan's a street rat? Something like that?
Are we quoting Aladdin now? Is that what's going on?
I understand.
Careful.
Dylan doesn't get it. Dylan doesn't get it, apparently.
If we quote any more lines, I think we're going to get a cease and desist letter. I think that's what that is.
Just stick to those lines. I didn't go any further, talking about a little snack. But at least I could say, Alan, you're ravishing right now. I can't tell about Dylan because he's hidden behind palace walls. Let's get into
that was a good one.
Let's get into some soccer stuff instead of this Fantasyland type stuff. We got a soccer match to talk about. That was a really good soccer match for the home fans there in Irvine at Championship Soccer Stadium that saw Orange County Soccer Club defeats pretty handedly a Las Vegas club that was coming in, and these two teams were right next to each other. So there's that. I think a 3-0 victory. I think any fan at the stadium, any fan watching the game live is happy with that outcome. Right, Dylan? Not?
No. Yeah, you absolutely have to be. I was having a drink of a cocktail when you asked that question. But they were amazing on Saturday night. They stuck with their game plan rather than panicking and playing the long ball forward. And they picked a team apart. And they picked a team apart that really only sits back and counters. So it was a good win, and it was a really good team performance as well.
I guess we're just like digging right into this match. I didn't even sort of lay out what else we'll talk about. We'll get to it later. I'm going to go to you, Alan. One of the highlights of the match was a awesome, amazing goal from Jerry Von Wolfgang that sort of just curled in. What were your thoughts on that goal, and what were your thoughts on the match in general?
I saw the goals as like highlights first before I was able to watch the whole game. I watched a good chunk of it, and then I had to drive a car, so I was not able to watch the rest of it. But that goal, I knew when it happened, and when I was watching the game back, it still kind of caught me off guard. It was like almost out of nowhere that he just like whips this ball in and just beautifully curls right into the goal. It was spectacular. It's great to see him score again. I think he's slowly kind of figuring out where his place is on the team. And if we get secondary scoring from folks like Van Wolfgang, and even getting Aiden Quinn back on the board, just gives you more options going forward, that you're not always having to rely on Seaton or DJ to team up to get a goal in. It's nice to see a couple guys that aren't named DJ and Seaton get a couple goals, because I think when you get multiple goal scorers, I think it takes the pressure off of those striker guys. And then because it takes the pressure off, I think they perform even better, knowing that there's guys who can bail them out and put the ball in the back of the net. So that curler was gorgeous. And I was like, I knew it was coming. It went in, and I was still surprised and happy when I was watching it back.
Great to hear. Dylan, what about you? The rest of the match, not just the Jerry Von Wolfgang goal there. What did you think of everything else that happened, I guess, from that point on? Because that was when really all the fun really started happening, right?
Yeah. The first half was frustrating, just to watch some chances that we should have scored not get finished off. That's been a pretty common issue all season long. It's we either get right up to the box and we can't get that last pass, or we're getting that last pass and we can't get the touch. Then Joe Miko was denied because he was flagged off for a goal, which was a little bit disappointing. But they did a really good job of not getting super worked up by Vegas's. I'm having a rough. This cocktail's apparently already hitting me. But not, Vegas has some questionable ethics sometimes with Winalda at the helm, and they didn't get sucked into that like a couple months ago now, just over 2.5 months ago, and played their own game, and then continued to play their own game even when it wasn't resulting in easy goals. They played it for a little over an hour, and then Van Wolfgang just places one and top in just before the 70th minute, and it was all over from that point. Walking back over to the main side of the field, the bench side of the field, to get to the tunnel before the match ended, I happened to be walking behind Kevin Coleman. Just said, come on, ref, blow the whistle. They gave up 20 minutes ago, which I thought was pretty accurate, because they didn't really offer anything in this match outside of the first half. I think Zelaya had a shot, and that was about it. But it was a good win. I think everyone was in really good spirits. Fans, squad, technical staff, ownership, even, they were all in good spirits. And then the players went over after the game and gave high fives to the fans and everything. So I think everyone kind of went home happy on Saturday night. Happy and maybe a bit tired as well.
So I'm just going to throw this, and I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, Dylan, but we did. If anyone that follows our Twitter account for the Soccer Cast, we follow Alicia and the wonderful work they do over there in Angels Parade. She put out a tweet, something about the lack of options for announcers for soccer matches. I graciously offered our services. If ESPN USO wants to bring us on board, Dylan and I can jump on something. I know I caught some flack from some of our listeners, Andy, about me messing up, famous popular sayings
Mixing
or whatever.
metaphors.
Yes, that type of thing. And then Dylan's already like messing up like 2 or 3 here in the first 10 minutes of our podcast. So just want to call it out there. I feel like
we're still an improvement. Because I can tell you that it's Van Wolfgang. It's been Van Wolfgang for almost a year and a half now.
It's still on the USL on the matches. They still put his former name out there, right, Alan?
Maybe.
Yeah, all the time. And then you get announcers who don't know better or who aren't like involved in the league, and you get them calling him that on the live feed. I think it was away San Antonio. And
yes,
yeah,
we called it out.
Yeah, so it's like, come on. I think the other good thing to keep in mind, 4 shots for Vegas, only 2 on target. I think when Orange County is able to not have to catch up to the game, they don't let a goal in, so they have to get back into it. That also helps as well, not having to play catch up like they've had to do a few times this season. They get that first goal, and then, it just builds the confidence, and then not allowing a whole lot of attack and not having to catch up to the game really helped them as well. I think it's a first clean sheet and first clean sheet win in quite a bit,
which is just awesome when you can get that. I'm putting the highlights on for anyone watching on our live feed. You can see the highlights from the match, courtesy of USL Championship Productions. Oh, and also just a reminder that our podcast is brought to you by Ruffneck Scarves. You can hear more about that as we get towards the end of the episode as well. Is there any downside to what happened in this match, Dylan? Is there anything that you're looking, either watching the highlights or from what you saw at the stadium, that you're looking at and saying we should have done that better?
I think the first half could have been a little bit better. I think I don't know if it was an attitude thing or preparing for a really long 90 minutes thing. Just some balls that weren't run down and chased down in the first half that really could have been. One stuck out to me, and just putting your hand up to claim the throw in, and then having Gabe Robinson from Las Vegas chase it down, and then having a counterattack start because of that. Those things, but it's a 3-0 victory. You just take the win. And, even if you're my favorite Harry Forster, who's had a very underwhelming season, you have a season's best game with 71 passes and 77% accuracy, and then you win 13 duels, and then you manage a shot on target, and you create a chance, and you get an assist, and you make 5 tackles and a clearance, and you only concede 2 fouls. Not a bad weekend for him. It's statistically the best weekend he's had for us this season or week. We've played some games on Wednesdays as well. And I think talking with Aiden Quinn at the end of the match, he says we've finally figured out exactly where everyone plays and where their roles are and how to make this work. So I'm hoping we see a little bit more of that from him, because that was the player that everyone's been looking for out of him. And that's the player he's obviously capable of being, because every now and then he does something and you just sit there and realize he's probably naturally more talented just about everyone else on the field, especially against a team like Vegas, where he's naturally more talented than everyone else on their team. He can do a lot of damage. So I'm hoping this is maybe the turning point. Sure, it's something like almost 25 games in now, and that's frustrating, but that's been really the mantra of the season. Is it's been a frustrating one so far, and hopefully from here on out, moving forward, it's better and better.
So, speaking of damage, because you brought up that word, I'm going to go back to maybe a particular play that some of the Orange County fans, probably even the Orange County front office and staff and whatnot, were not happy with. And that was when a Las Vegas player came in with a pretty hard tackle. I believe it was on Christian Duke, when I guess there was a Las Vegas player that was down, or or acting hurt or something like that. And I guess Las Vegas wasn't happy about it. So they decide to send, or the player decides to come in pretty hard. I'm looking at Twitter following during the match. Our good friend Andy put out a tweet, and I quote, "I understand why Sandoval wanted to stop the play, but Jeebus, that was pretty reckless. Send a guy for an MRI with a hit like that." And then, of course, later on in the match, towards the end, when it was all said and done, he took out, I believe it was Jerry Von Wolfgang. Not, I guess, as hard, but still one of those plays where you're looking at it as like chances to injure a player when it's not really necessary.
Both of his challenges were super reckless. The first one was especially so, putting a dude into a table. I mean, you do that in hockey, and you're probably going to get a boarding call. And then, he sits here and just gets a yellow card. And he has the audacity to complain about it afterwards.
Yes.
A couple weeks ago, we saw that in Austin. We saw, like, studs to the chest, straight red card, and then complaining about it. It was the same kind of play where you hunt a guy down from halfway across the field, and you take him out. And like, everyone knows that you're hunting that dude. You're not going to try and get the ball. You're just going to try and hurt him. You're going to try and break up the play. And then, later on, it's like a 2-footed awkward challenge where I don't think it was as much trying to hurt or trying to injure as much as it was just like really bad. Clearly the guy's not a very good defender. And then rightfully got the red card for that, because a lot of the times you go in a 2-footed challenge, you're going to pick up a straight red for that anyway. It was the second yellow, so it was deserved, but yeah, that was the kind of stuff that thankfully didn't really happen all game long and only happened at the end. But that's totally the exact kind of thing that you'd expect from Vegas, from Ronaldo side. And that's the exact kind of reason you don't put Francis Jacobs in that game, because you get some dude who's twice his age who gets pissy and ends his career a week after it begins. It's not worth it. And that's typical Vegas. I mean, it's not great. They do well in like the lower leagues of England, like 4th, 5th levels of the pyramid, because it's just counterattack. You can't really play with the ball at your feet. No one likes us. That's their thing, and it doesn't work well for 35 games. And sometime they'll learn that, but in the meantime, they have llamas and pool parties.
Yeah, Las Vegas leads the league in red cards with 6. And
they finally passed us.
Yeah, they're third. They're third with 53 yellow cards. We have 54, to be fair. We have 5 red cards. Although I would argue that at the very least, that Walker Hume red shouldn't be a red. But
or the Joe Amico one against Vegas.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Neither of those really, but
it is what it is. But yeah, Las Vegas definitely, and I think they led the league last year in yellow cards or something crazy. So they do get
120, I think, in total.
Yeah, they do get disciplined a lot. They do play on the edge. I'm not a huge fan of some of the way that Austin plays for the same reason. Like, there's a difference between playing with an edge and playing with reckless abandon, and you hope to not see that. Obviously, there might be a skill gap that leads to some more reckless play, because guys get beat more often. But also, you're looking at a league that has some younger guys in it, and you don't want to see an older guy go in, studs up, and take out a kid, and possibly ruin his career when he could have the potential of being something good. So I don't like to see a lot of that reckless play. It's nice to see Forrester only get called for 2 fouls, because I think he has a tendency of playing on the edge a little bit too. And that also, even as a supporter, makes me uncomfortable to see that kind of play. I like seeing hard play, but there's a difference between hard and reckless. And some of those challenges were for sure reckless.
And one other thing to talk about on this match, and then we can, I guess, sort of move on, is let's talk about the goal from Aiden Quinn. My big question on it is, what was the Vegas defense thinking there? Because I think if you look back at the replay, you probably can count to 5 and still no one comes near Aiden Quinn before he gets that shot off. Dylan, can you even think or guess what Vegas and the defense there was thinking in that run up to the goal?
Yeah, I think it comes down to them already mostly being out of the game. They didn't really have any response, and they just kind of turtled after they gave up the first goal. And no one wanting to step up and being the man to try and shut him down. Maybe the scouting says Quinn doesn't shoot all that often, and maybe doesn't hit the target that often this season when he does shoot. But talking to him after the game, Quinn just said, "I just tried to hit the frame of the goal." That's all. That's all you try and do when you shoot, especially from that distance. And when no one closes you down, it's really easy to pick a corner. And yeah, it's almost 6 seconds that he's actually moving forward with the ball. I mean, he takes a touch to put it onto his dominant foot, his left foot, and then just starts running towards the 18. And no one ever comes out to close him down. No one ever cuts across to close him down. And then he just gets to have a wonderful day. I mean, it doesn't get any easier, honestly, unless you have like a tap in. It hits your hair and you get to claim a goal.
A Harry Kane style goal.
I was going for the slight dig and get no reaction. I was like, oh, even over his head, just like that ball was over Harry Kane's.
Yeah, it definitely looked like they were waiting for Quinn to kind of put it into the box. But I mean, Quinn's got 6 goals in the season. It's not like he's, not shooting, not scoring. But I think that he typically tends to play a little bit further back, so maybe doesn't get as many looks. And he's definitely known for his ability to put the ball into the box and get other guys good looks. But it just seemed like they were waiting for him to pass, waiting for the pass, and he was just like, I'm definitely just gonna shoot, and yeah, just put it in the right spot. Didn't try to like power it by the goalie, just put it in a really good spot, and it went in. And I think that Las Vegas was probably surprised that he shot it, and I'm happy that he did. I think it's good. Again, Vaden Quinn's up there pumping balls on target and hitting the target, and he puts a couple more in. Seaton and DJ don't have to do as much, and we're even more dangerous going forward than we have been.
So ultimately, when it comes down to it against Las Vegas, a goal for Jerry Von Wolfgang, a goal for Aiden Quinn, a goal for Michael Seaton, clean sheet for Aaron Cervantes, and a team of the week for Harry Forrester. In the end, probably a very satisfying and exciting weekend of soccer for Orange County fans. And yeah, I mean, Dylan, you got to at least be excited about Harry Forrester for at least for the next couple days.
Yeah, no, I'm glad he's finally, he finally had a performance that we've expected of him. And obviously everyone on the team, I think I said this earlier, everyone on the team is kind of underwhelmed this year. They've underperformed, and him especially. And I think a lot of people were looking towards him to kind of fill in for that Thomas Enevolson. He's in his late 20s. He should be in the prime of his career. He's a European player coming over, and then he just kind of didn't do anything for like a month and a half, and then scored a goal in Fresno, and then kind of didn't really do anything again, and then got hot against, he dropped a little bit further back and played a little bit better, but we weren't winning games, so nothing really happens there. And then bad run of form, I think a little bit of a knee injury for a little bit, and then I am legitimately happy for him. I want all of our players to do well. He's just been the one who's been the most underwhelming and generally makes poor decisions. I think he didn't do that this weekend, and look where it got us. I think this is probably one of our best wins of the season. And you get the bragging rights one. We win 2-1 over Phoenix. But if we're talking about complete performances, it's this one and the one against Reno. Yeah, where we just play
your favorite game.
Yeah, play our game, take it to a team, and just keep playing our game and make them try and deal with it and watch them struggle and cave. And that's what we did all last year. That's what we should keep doing. I mean, I hope this builds their confidence again, and I hope everyone now on the team, all those 11, everyone on the 18 from that game realizes, you know what? Yeah, we can do this every week. It doesn't matter who we're playing against. We want to take it to Vegas. You can take it to Vegas. You want to take it to Reno, you can take it to Reno. You want to take it to Phoenix, we can take it to Phoenix. It doesn't matter who we're playing. Like, these guys are good enough. It's most of the same team that made it to the finals last year. We should do that again.
And hopefully this starts a good run. I mean, it's all about consistency here at this point, because we know this team can pull off victories like this. They did it this past weekend against a Vegas team that you probably should win. If you look at it on paper, it's a team you should win. They did it against a Reno team who is one of the better teams in the league by just demolishing them on the pitch. So, and then like you said, even Dylan, against probably the best team in the league against Phoenix, we came up with a victory and got the full 3 points. I mean, so we know this team has the talent. They have the ability to pull off these wins. Now we just need to see them consistently put together solid performances like this over a 4, 5, 6 game stretch. You might not win all 4, 5, or 6 of those games, but if you can come away and get, 4 victories, a draw, and a loss in a 6 game stretch, I think any fan in any soccer league would be pretty excited, unless maybe you're a Phoenix fan or, one of those really just dominant teams out there. So the hope is that they can build from this, like you said, Dylan, and we can see another strong performance and build some of that consistency out there for Orange County. That leads us to looking ahead now to what's coming up for Orange County, and that's another tough matchup. This matchup is going to be against Real Monarchs. Who wants to take the lead on this and start off with their thoughts of this match coming up?
I think with Real Monarchs, their typical MO is start hot and then fade toward the end. They were kind of started off okay, but had a real tough run of form in April and May. They lost a ton of games. It wasn't looking good, but they are 2-1-2 in the last 5. They've put up some pretty good matches. They beat New Mexico. Obviously, they lost against San Antonio, which isn't great. They drew Fresno. They put 4 up on Tulsa. So, they're a team that is going to be a tough team to play. They typically fade late, but it seems to be they're really fighting for that, 4th place in the West. So they're going to want to come in, and they're going to want to, they're seeing Orange County as maybe a team that they could probably get 3 on the road before they come home against. They got OKC, Vegas, LA, and Portland too. So I think Real Monarchs are looking and saying, hey, we can reel off 15 points here real quick if we want. So I think they're going to come in confident, and they're going to be a tough team to play, especially with the form they're in right now. Like I said, it'll start a little bit slow, but obviously a little bit better home team. They're 2-5-1 away, 8-2-1 at home. So I'm glad we don't have them at home. We're not on the road, because that would be an even tougher match. But they're probably gonna be hungry, because they're gonna need this win, and I think they see Orange County as a possible road win. But I think, again, Orange County has shown at home they play well, and given the chance to play well, they can beat any team they want. They took it to Reno. The last Phoenix loss was to Orange County when Orange County was at home. So that they can beat good teams at home. They just need to show up, start fast, put a goal in early. Because I think if they try to play catch up with SLC, I don't think it's going to work. So I think they got to come in hot. I think they got to ride that confidence from last week, and it's going to be a tough one. It should be pretty fun.
And this is one of those matches where I guess you're going to want to say, home fans, come bring some energy to the stadium, cheer on your players to try and help lead them to a result in this match. Because again, this is a tough team that we're facing here. It's a team that's sitting, I believe, currently 5th in the table. They do have a pretty impressive goal differential from where they're standing at +10. So it's not like this is one of those easy two teams to face. And we've already gone through where we've seen where we're facing a two team thinking it's going to be easy and we lose, although that was on the road in Tacoma. So it's something where hopefully the players are coming in focused. They're building from this last victory, and there's some fan presence there that's going to help bring up the energy for the team and help them out in getting there. Dylan, I think we've got you back here on the stream and on the line here. Dylan, what are your thoughts heading into this match against Real Monarchs up there or down here in Irvine? And I think we don't have Dylan still. Oh, there he is.
God, Spectrum sucks, everyone. So don't give them money unless you have to. But I think, in talking to Braden Cloutier over the weekend, he echoed the sentiment that we generally do well against teams that actually try and play soccer and actually have like a positive game plan and try and score goals and try and win games, rather than teams that are like, okay, we're gonna have no possession and we're gonna put 10 dudes in the box and then we're gonna have one stand outside and hope we can beat teams on the counter. Teams like RGB, teams like Vegas. Trying to think of other teams that play that. Teams like Tacoma, I think they generally kind of do that kind of thing. So I think we can probably pick this team apart. Noah Powder's been pretty good from this season. Michael Shang has been good for them as well. And then outside of that, I mean, those are their two big standouts, I think. They're not a team that has a ton of depth despite being a two team. I think they're pretty easily beatable. And yeah, okay, they're fifth in the table and their goal difference is better this year than I think it was basically for the entirety of last year. I think they generally grind out a lot of smaller victories. I remember earlier this season I watched them absolutely decimate Los Dos, but they're not unbeatable, and that's the thing is they've almost conceded as much as we have. I think they're 1 or 2 goals short of that, or of us in that regard, and then a lot of those goals came off of that victory against Los Dos, and it was something like back in April, March or April. So I think, much like Alan said earlier, this is a team that starts strong and starts hot because they're normally pretty good defensively at the beginning of the year while everyone else is trying to figure out their defense because these guys come up to the academy together and play together for a long time. And then they kind of tail off. And, or a draw against Fresno is a fair result. Beating Tulsa is not impressive anymore. This isn't the Tulsa of 2 months ago. So I think we could do a job. I mean, this is a team that 2 weeks ago only managed a 1-0 victory against Colorado Springs. So this should be a team that we say, okay, they're going to play their game. Let's play ours, and let's see how they adapt. Because at the end of the day, Orange County's not a bunch of 22-year-olds.
Perfect. Anything else, Alan, that you want to share on this match? Or Dylan, do you have any last thoughts on this match, or do we want to get into our predictions?
I don't have a whole lot on Real Monarchs. I haven't watched them a ton. I watched them a bunch last year. I haven't seen them too often this year. But yeah, I think we need to cheer them on. We need to get the energy level up, especially early, and come out and support. Orange County should be a nice, beautiful Saturday evening. Come on out and cheer on the team to win.
And invite your friends, invite people to come join you to the match so we can try and get some energy there at Championship Soccer Stadium for what should be a pretty solid match between two quality soccer teams in the USL. Let's get into our predictions. Dylan, what is your prediction for this match?
Oh, man, that's a difficult question. I got to say like 3-1 Orange County. I think we're going to ride high with the confidence of this weekend, and we rightfully should. And like I said, we got a little bit more experience on this team. We play well against teams that actually have a game plan and try and play positive attacking soccer, and I think we can pull out another result. And it sets us up in a nice place for the remaining weeks of the season.
Perfect. Alan, what about you?
I'm seeing a 2-1 victory. I think they're probably going to score a goal. They have a couple guys who can put the ball into the net. So like Douglas Martinez, Michael Chang, 10 goals and 9 goals respectively. So they got guys who can score. So I don't think we keep a clean sheet this game. I think it's going to be hard to do that. But I think the way that we've been playing, the confidence we can bring in, and the guys who can put the ball into the net, I think we can get 2 on the board, and we pull up a 2-1 victory.
I don't know, gentlemen. Do I need to go with my whole like reverse technology here?
No, you don't play. So it's no. Get that nonsense out of here.
I can't remember because I was a little flustered last week with all the technical issues. But did I do it last week and did we end up winning?
I think we hazed you out of doing it last week too.
Nah, you wouldn't have hazed me.
I think it's just me.
But I think I still did it, and I think we ended up winning. Pretty solid victory there for Orange County. So I'm going to say 2-1 Real Monarchs. And again, it's all because I'm hoping by me saying that it changed things. It is what it is. 2-1 Real Monarchs. Let's move on. We got some non-soccer stuff, not non-soccer stuff, non-game stuff to talk about. I believe one of the things I did see rolling around in social media is Orange County is hosting tryouts for a U17 team, it looks like, that will participate. If I could pull it up here in front of me, unless one of you gentlemen have it in front of you. But let's see. Man, I should have been ready for this because I knew I was going to talk about it. They are going to be, they will be playing in the USL Academy Cup. It is a U17 team. They're hosting tryouts on the 23rd and 28th from 8 to 10 p.m. at the OC Great Park. So if you are someone who loves Orange County Soccer Club, has a player that fits into that age group of the U17s, and you want to see about getting them onto the Orange County U17 team to participate in that, then there you go. That's something to do. Dylan, what are your thoughts on this with Orange County? Their U17 team, and is this you've been around the team more? Is this the first time they're doing a U17 team, or is this something that's sort of been in the works, or what do you know about this?
I think so. I think this is just kind of the natural progression of the partnerships with some of the local clubs, giving those guys a little bit more of a, they christened it the pathway to professional. I think this is more a little bit of a legitimate way up into that U23 program. Honestly, I think a big part of it is because of the academy that the USL, the Academy League that they're creating, or that they've created, and having players get that experience, and having, obviously there's going to be pro scouts there, and some of the bigger clubs will be sending out their academy scouts. So if we can get dudes on some academy contracts over time, and maybe get some of the money from I can't think of the term that they use for it, but the training fee, essentially, the development fee that you get is worthwhile. Beyond that, it gives us a longer term look forward into the future, which is obviously important. And I think now we could really say the league is getting legitimate. The league is going to stick around for a long time, and I think Orange County is going to be here to stay as well, which is very nice. Really nice to think about.
Well, I know following social media, probably a few weeks ago, there was a tweet out from one of the heads over, I guess, in the USL offices, talking about how they came out to visit with the front office here in Orange County, and how there's this like 10-year plan in place. So this, I guess, sort of adds to that excitement with what's going on here in Orange County with USL in general, and knowing that there's some stability, because I know for the longest time, lower league soccer, and even if you look at it, it took MLS a while to sort of get some stability. They had some instances early on in their existence where they built a little too quick, had to take away a few teams. Now they're getting stronger, they're building up. And you're seeing that with USL too, as they've, with the second tier, third tier soccer leagues, there was a little bit of instability for a while there, where the player or where the teams were having issues financially trying to continue. And so you'd see teams have to leave and new teams develop and all this. And every season you look, there'd be all these team changes. And now you're looking at where the USL is at this point, where they're now building a multi-tiered structure of soccer, going down to a U17 level with like an Academy Cup here. So there's some great strength in this league now, and it's just up to the fans, the ownership, the players to really help take what you have now as a solid foundation and just keep growing this league, because there's some good things going on here, and it's awesome. I know here in Orange County, we're not too far from LAFC or from LA Galaxy, but it's nice to have a local team that you can, anywhere in Orange County, probably at the max, it's like a 25-minute drive to get to the Great Park Stadium there. And you have a team and you have this atmosphere that you're right up there with the players at the stadium, and you see professional soccer. These are men that are making a living off of the sport. So when you see these types of things happening and you're hearing the news about some stability and stuff, it's just an awesome thing to see.
Yeah, this just speaks to the USL's want to a clear path between youth soccer and a professional level. This is essentially like the fourth tier of USL. And a little bit more information. It's academy levels can be associated with any of the other three tiers, so Championship, League One, League Two. And there is actually a U13 grouping as well. So a lot of the play will be in October. Some of it will transition over into 2020. So this is just them trying to set up kind of a clear pathway from a youth level soccer team straight through to the professional level. And it creates that academy where USL Championship 1 and 2 teams, they can have tournaments where their academies can play each other. And I think, these kids will grow up in these academies, then we'll move to these 2 teams and 1 teams and championship teams, where eventually they're going to be playing against each other. You're talking about eventually maybe starting a USL League Cup. So I think this just strengthens the USL brand, and identifies these tournaments and connects the brand all the way down to, these kids in these academies that we see them, signing with Orange County at 14. Aaron Cervantes came out of, a local academy at, 14, 15. So it's just going to strengthen these bridges into these communities and really make it, worthwhile, and make it attractive to these players to start playing soccer, where they can see a direct line to a professional sport. Whereas, in other sports, you don't quite see that straight pathway. If a kid gets into some of these youth academies, they have, a chance to basically play their way into a pro contract.
Dylan, any additional thoughts on this?
No, I think Alan did a great job of giving some background and giving basically the pros of this existence and why. Obviously, Caston has an idea for the future and how this all fits into it. So, hopefully in 10 years, we're still doing this whole thing and we all have gray hair and we're looking at a bunch of kids that came out of this and are doing great things for the club and moving up in the world, maybe moving on to big U.S. teams and to Europe. And saying, I remember when we first talked about this, and with our
You're not going to sound like that. You're not going to sound like that in 10 years, Dylan.
You're right, because how old will I be in 10 years?
Like
22.
Yeah,
exactly.
Look at that.
This is creepy.
Good minds think alike.
Yeah, I will definitely be Taylor Swift. I'll be feeling 22.
Well, and the crazy thing to think about it, right, is in 10 years, my youngest son, who's the one that loves soccer, he's going to be 17. Who knows? Maybe we'll be cheering for him out there on the pitch and screaming his name.
I can't promise that I won't be screaming at him for making a mistake, but I will do my best.
If he makes a mistake at that age, go for it.
This is a good dad right here, everyone. For all of you that have kids or are thinking about having kids, if your kid is any older than like 9, they know if they're making a mistake. Maybe don't yell at them when they're 9, but 17 is a fair age. They know what they're doing by that time.
But even at 9, at 10, you still could use it as a coaching opportunity and help them learn from what they're doing. Don't bring their confidence down. Don't call them names or anything like that, but you use it as a learning experience, which is what I try to do when I'm coaching out there. I coach kids that were born in 2011 and 2012. So you're looking at 7, 8, potentially 9-year-olds as we get through the calendar year. So I take any opportunity that, like you said, Dylan, the kids get to know that they made a mistake, but if you could take an opportunity to coach them from it and they can learn from it, that's really what it's all about. Now, when you get to here's what I'll say. If you've signed some sort of professional contract and you're playing on the big stage, then by all means, you better be willing to take some heckling from the fans and some negative thoughts from your home fans if you're making mistakes out there, because that's soccer. That's what's going to happen. If you're not playing to your abilities and you're not helping the team win, you're going to know about it as a player, regardless of your age. Any other soccer related thoughts before we get into just some random thoughts?
It's soccer related. I guess it's a little bit random. Barrie FC is most likely not going to exist in the EFL after this season. And as much as we talk about soccer in this country not really existing in a great sense, and terrible ownership and terrible decisions and terrible leagues like MLS or NISA, it does get worse. And we could have billionaire owners who just want to say they own a team and buy a team and then don't take care of it and run them into the ground, and then stop paying the players and stop paying the staff. And, for some of these smaller teams and smaller towns, it ends up, destroying the town. It's not perfect anywhere, but the grass isn't always greener in England. And I think until we have a competent federation, I see people, especially with the MLS for the Lou and St. Louis getting the 28th expansion bid for MLS, so many people complaining about they're only 11th in the USL and how they should be promoted and how we should have pro rel. Until we have competent leadership in US soccer, you can't have pro rel, because even in England, where there's more competence, you still have these issues, and it would still be the case here. So let's all pipe down for a minute, and congratulations to St. Louis. I feel super bad for the USL team and the USL fans and the USL players, because they're just going to get passed on by. But the grass isn't always greener, and ownership isn't always great. Sometimes ownership in a league combine to ruin a club, and they can ruin a community while doing that too. So let's all hope for more stability and 10-year plans from everyone involved in the league before we hope that we can get promoted or relegated. Not that anyone hopes for that.
Do you have a thought, Alan?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys have seen the tweets from Tormenta FC. They had a player, Lucas Coutinho, who was in a pretty nasty collision on the pitch, and they had to take him away in an ambulance to a hospital. And USL flew his parents out from Brazil, apparently, to be with him in the hospital as he recovered. Statement about 12 hours ago from Tormenta FC was that he made a breakthrough this afternoon in the neuro ICU and continues to recuperate in good hands. We hate to see this type of injury. We hate to see players go down, but it seems like good news for Lucas. There's lots of love on the social medias regarding this and Tormenta FC. So I just want to send some good vibes to Lucas, and hopefully he recovers well from it was apparently a head injury. He was airlifted to a hospital in Savannah, Georgia. So good vibes to him, and well wishes to him and his family and the whole Tormenta FC crew there in League One. So not always fun to see that happen, but the way that the team has rallied, the community has rallied around him and the team has been kind of cool to watch. So that is kind of like my soccer-related news. So if you see that, search that out, send some love that way to Georgia from Orange County. I think they would appreciate it.
No, definitely. Yeah. You never want to see anything like that happen. I know you guys bash on me for bringing up Tottenham all the time, but there was a very bad head injury with a former Tottenham player. He wasn't playing for Tottenham at the time. Ryan Mason, he's now a retired footballer in his 20s. So it's not like he's, someone that was ready to retire, and he had a serious head injury. It was a collision with another player head on head, fracture and worry from his family, his teammates, his former teammates, a bunch of people. So you never want to see that type of stuff. Unfortunately, it's part of sport. It's gonna happen. You just hope that it doesn't happen too often, or it's not too horrible. Wishes and prayers to the Tormenta FC family, fans, supporters, and the family of Lucas Coutinho and friends. Anyone impacted by this, just thoughts and prayers going out to everyone that's been impacted by this. Where do we go from here? Let's get to our random thoughts. Before we get to our random thoughts, I'm going to say this because it is soccer related. Everyone that listens to our podcast, that I work at UC Irvine. UC Irvine has a pretty good men's soccer program. They, I think, preseason number 25 in the nation. They just came off a victory, I think a 3-1 victory recently. If you get a chance, head out there to UC Irvine, watch some soccer. It's a pretty friendly price to go watch a match there and enjoy some other local soccer. And who knows, you go to that match, you may potentially be seeing a future Orange County Soccer Club player because, there's always some sort of connection there. This season we got Daniel Crisostomo. We got who else is on the team? Giovanni Godoy. In the past, we've had players. So, and you have Rafa Espinoza, who was on contract with us. I believe he's over there at UCI now. So there's always going to be connection there because of the close proximity between the two players. So, go for it. Come check it out. And hey, you never know. Maybe you head out there, you meet some really good soccer fans of UC Irvine. You can tell them to come check out a match at Orange County, and maybe you can build this sort of relationship, support the local college team, support the local pro team. It'd be pretty awesome if you get a chance for that. All right, now let's get into our random thoughts. We'll start with Dylan.
Oh boy, okay. I haven't read anything this week. Life's been a little bit. Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
That's what happens when you move to LA County. You stop reading.
But I do have some music recommendations. It's a 2-year-old album. Lucas Nelson and the Promise of the Real, their self-titled album. Lucas Nelson and the Promise of the Real. It's really, really good. Lady Gaga's on it for a couple songs, I think. But more importantly, it's just a really good album. Lucas Nelson is Willie Nelson's son, one of his sons, that is. It was the backing band for Star is Born, that movie with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. It's really talented. He's really talented. The band's really talented. The content is great. Kind of spans a whole bunch of different genres, but it's really good Americana stuff, which I'm kind of all about. I think that's my only kind of random thought for this week, if I'm being entirely honest. Oh,
so go on
about
Google.
Football Manager, but I'm sure you'll bring up some Football Manager.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Why? Because I finally started playing it?
Yeah, the bug's bitten someone else, everyone. Ray started playing Football Manager. So now you know two people whose lives are going to be ruined by what is essentially a simulator game.
Got to get you on board, Alan.
I got two. The first one is my parents are moving to Georgia. So I'm a little bit sad, but I wish them good travels. I'm sure my mom probably downloads and listens to this. If she doesn't, she just retweets it and shares it on Facebook. I do not play Football Manager, by the way. I just don't have the time, and I don't want to get hooked on something else that would take up too much of my time. The other is RuPaul's Drag Race just announced that All Stars Season 5, I believe, and a brand new season of regular RuPaul's Drag Race is coming back. It's one of my favorite TV shows of all time. So I am super stoked that that's happening. There's no release date yet, but it is amazing. Performers are great. They're funny. They're talented. They're drama. They are so ridiculous. If you have not seen a season of RuPaul's Drag Race, you need to get on it. It's so ridiculous. It's catty. It's entertaining. But it's by far my favorite show on, I guess, reality show on TV. So I'm excited that they just announced that 2 seasons of RuPaul Drag Race. I can't wait.
Awesome to hear. Like Dylan said, I started playing Football Manager. I'm Orange County on it, but I did do the mod where it's like they've introduced promotion relegation in U.S. soccer. So I'm seeing how that goes. The thing that sucks is right now it starts with like last season. So like you still have Thomas and Walton in Orange County, but I'm looking right now at my team, and here's my current injury list. I have Kevin Alston. He's out with a broken leg for 5 to 7 months. Darwin Jones is out with a torn calf muscle for about 2 months. Aaron Cervantes is out with a sprained knee, out for like 6 weeks. And I think like Thomas Enevolson and Koji Hashimoto just came back from injury. They were out for like 4 months, or not 4, like 4 to 6 weeks or something like that. So apparently all my players get injured on Orange County.
Yeah, you need to give them a rest, and this goes for anyone who plays this game.
I give them rest
for a couple days.
I do.
Okay, now find yourself a better sports science team and a better medical staff, because
it's too much work.
Unacceptable.
I'll do that when they make it into the American Premier League, and then
you got rid of Peter Nugent.
Yeah,
our lovely Mank.
No, I didn't get rid of him. Atlanta United poached him from me. So
well, good for you, Virtual Pete. You are definitely more than qualified for Frank de Boer's garbage soccer team. Spend some of that money, guys. Do not play this game.
My team doesn't want to give me any money. The GM, Mr. Oliver, there doesn't. Every time I ask him for money, he says more money. He says no. So,
well, sell a player. Yeah, do not play this game. It will ruin your life. I need to figure out a way to wean myself off in the next week before.
I've been trying to sell Casey Byers. No one will buy him. Yes, and Koji Hashimoto is leaving on a free at the end of the season. Other than that, my son's soccer team just started their first practice of the fall season. It's going to be 2 teams combined in practices, and I'll be coaching 2 separate teams in the same league. So I'm going to have like an A team and a B team, but they'll be equally as talented. I'm not putting like all the best players on one team. Once I know when games will be, I'll let y'all know, and y'all can come out and support. You might be seeing a future Orange County Soccer Club player there on the pitch. And these are, again, kids born in 2011, so very young. But hey, there's some pretty good players out there. I feel comfortable saying there'll be a couple of players you'll hear of in the future on this team at least. And I'm not even thinking for sure it would be my son. There's some other ones that are really, really talented there. I think we're good to go. We almost had technical issues today. I somehow was able to fix it with only a few minutes delay there. But Dylan, social media stuff. Quick, go.
You can find me on Twitter at OCSC_Dylan, or you can find me on Reddit /u/OCSC_Dylan.
Alan, go.
Underwood48 on the Twitter machine.
And you can find me on Twitter at DJ Ray Samora. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast. You can look for us on Instagram, same thing at OCSC_SoccerCast. Look for us on Pinterest, on Facebook, wherever you want to find us. Just search for us on the web. You can go to our website, OCSCpodcast.com, or if you like to type in longer things, orangeandblacksoccercast.com. I want to thank all of you that are listeners that have been listening since day one. Thanks for coming back each and every week and listen to all of our wonderful thoughts. For those of you that have just listened for the very first time, go back and listen to some previous episodes and see what you think about our thoughts. We'll go with that. With that said, my name is Ray for Alan and for Dylan. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, and we are out.
Win or lose, we will always follow you. Let it rain, let it pour. We
thanks to our sponsor, Golden Goal Press, the best choice for you to get custom shirts, hats, mugs, and other items for just yourself or your organization. Check out their amazing products at a fraction of the price of other places at goldengoalpress.com. Also, thanks to Ruffneck Scarves, official scarf supplier to the MLS, USL, and US Soccer. Get custom scarves for your group or team at ruffneckscarves.com.